safely tucked away. Nobody knows about Eureka. Nobody knows about Mac either. Addie imagines herself like the set of antique Russian dolls she keeps on her bedside table. The good doll on the outside is painted with flowers. She saves unnested fledglings and fish that flap too far up the beach, makes silk dresses and patchwork pinafores, cooks pretty suppers, arranges paintings on walls, lines pebbles along windowsills, attends to the guests who've come here for the piece, smiling like it's a gift to serve them. Underneath is her bad doll, her siren self, wild, dark-winged and unruly. Only Mac knows this one. Underneath the good doll and the bad doll, there's the sea doll, garlanded with strands of kelp, who loves the dolphins and the waves. Finally, there's the little doll who once loved too much, who shrank to the size of a kidney bean when her grandmother died, and lies curled with her hands over her head, still weeping. Addie's mother said, "I've never heard of sharks round here," before going back to her book, lying on the Indian daybed which Addie bid for in an online auction. Addie's grandmother would have clutched her to her chest and begged her to stay out of the water and away from the shark, and although Addie wouldn't have been able to comply, she would have felt the ferocity of her love. The loss of her grandmother, when she was 13, has been the calamity of her life. Because when she was born, it was her grandmother who smiled into her eyes, who lifted her up and showed her the sea and the sand and the gulls on the air currents. Her mother left early in the mornings and came back late at night, bringing in the money because, as she said, someone had to. Her father, strangely, was never around at weekends. Mirror neurons develop within 72 hours of a child being born. So Addie heard on the radio, and the face she mirrored was Grandma Flora's. I love you back. I know you back. That's how it works. Smile, smile, chatter, chatter, love, love. That's how it didn't work with her mother, who only got into the swing of maternity 6 years later when her brother was born, blonde and idyllic and male, a miniature version of their father, Peter Mims. Addie watched her father singing into his tiny baby face, and her mother smoothing his cowlick curl. But when she nervously edged over to his crib and put out a hand to squeeze his warm shoulder, he started to whimper, and her mother said, "Be gentler, he doesn't like that." "We'll call him Sydney," said her mother. "Where Uncle Ray's living." "I thought he lived in Adelaide," said Addie. Everything had moved. The furniture from her bedroom was now in the nursery, along with her mother's Winnie the Pooh bear and her father's flying aeroplane, which used to hang from her ceiling lamp. And now Uncle Ray had moved too, from Adelaide, from where he used to send Addie postcards. Addie pulls down the iron handle, and the window shoots inwards, designed this way on account of the wind. Her long auburn ringlets lash her face and fly up around her head. Addie inherited her lemming curls from her mother, Martha Lemming, who inherited them from her father, Frederick Lemming, who was an out-and-out sod. His wife, Flora Finch Lemming, was, on the other hand, a perfect angel. It's Grandpa Fred's fault that Grandma Flora is dead. Grandpa Fred is also dead, and that's his fault too. But, terrible to say this about another human being, nobody really minds about him. The huge sky is framed by a pair of bedroom windows, and opposite them are 4 tall cupboards with one door open, revealing rolls of material, netting and linens and velvets and silks. On the floor are Grandma Flora's baskets of fabric offcuts, arranged by colour, blues, reds, greens, darks and pales. Addie's been making patchwork dolphins for the guests, half-heartedly, boredom slowing her to a sludgy, resentful lethargy. She'd rather work on the wedding dress, because making dresses is her gift.